Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad you can make it tonight. Tonight we will be talking about phonological and phonemic awareness. As a parent or a caregiver, you may be asking yourself, why do I need to know this? The number one reason for understanding phonological and phonemic awareness is to build a strong foundation for your children's reading success. A surprising fact is that your child's reading development begins as early as you talking to your child as a baby. Defined by readingrocket.org, phonological awareness is defined as a broad skill that includes identifying and manipulating units of oral language. Parts, such as words, syllables, or single sounds, by listening rather than clapping. Phonemic awareness is a part of phonological awareness in which listeners are able to hear, identify, and manipulate phonemes, the smallest mental unit of sound that helps to differentiate units of meaning. An example of a phoneme is C in the word car, since it has its own unique sound. One thing that we should remember, that's important to remember, is that phonemes can be more than one letter. For example, the SH in shut is a phoneme. The SU in the word shut is a phoneme. So now that we have had the technical definitions of phonological and phonemic awareness, let's break it down for a little better understanding. Phonological awareness. 6 points of phonological awareness: listening, alliterations, rhyming, syllables, blending, and segmentation. Those are all phonological awareness. Phonemic awareness is part of phonological awareness, and it has 3 elements. And we're going to talk about those 3 elements this evening. And the first one we're going to talk about is syllables. We're going to give you some examples of syllables. And I want all of you guys' help. If you can give me a hand here, we're going to clap on each syllable. Bat. So it has 1. Log. It has 1. Wagon. So that has 2. Marker. There's another 2. So syllables you can hear out and you can clap them. When it's phonemic, you eventually learn to do that without the clapping. Rhyming. Rhyming is a good way for children to learn the sounds. Bat, cat, rat. See how they all sound alike? And that's really important in teaching kids to rhyme. And it's fun. And definitely kids will learn when we make it fun. The last 3 of the 3 elements is the beginning sound. And let's say cat. The k, cat. Bat, bat. So those are the 3 elements of phonemic awareness, which is all under the phonological awareness. So one thing is phonological awareness is that you can make it fun. You can play silly songs with them, silly games with them, and you can match pictures to pictures, pictures to sound. There's all sorts of different things. So tonight we're going to do an example of something that you could do with a small group, or you could do with your individual child. A silly song called 5 Little Monkeys Jumping on the Bed. And it goes like this. 5 little monkeys jumping in the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. So you hear some of the elements of rhyming in there. And so to take that one step farther, we're going to play a game with them with print. Print concept is very exciting to kids, is learning that there is words that go with there's print that goes with the words of the song. So here we go. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could have the kids scramble them all up, and then you're going to have every child's different, so we're going to kind of tailor it to who we're working with. So say if we have a child that struggles a little bit, we could maybe just do one verse of the song. Or if there's someone that's really catching on quickly and is ready to move forward, you could have them do all the verses of the song. But the main thing here is to teach them that words have meanings, to connect the print with the verse of the song, so that children learn that there is letters and words that make up the song. So there's lots of different ways you can do that. Okay, with our little silly song earlier, we learned a little bit about print concept. So I want to talk a little bit more about how early reading development affects early literacy. And there's lots of different ways that you can teach children at an early age with your spoken words. So we're going to start out, and I'm going to talk about what it's like to go through a reading book to your children to help them grow both in their reading development and their literacy. So to start out with, one thing that is really exciting for a child is pictures. So we would start out with showing the front cover, and we talk about the title of the book, and what they see can often help them describe the title of the book. We would talk about the title, and then who wrote the book, the author. And so to just get them to understand that, there is an author and there is an illustrator. So you can explain that to children, that the author writes the words and the illustrator is who makes the pictures. So how I would start out, this is 5 Minutes Pete the Cat Stories. So if I was going to read the first story of the book, I would talk about, I would take a little bit of time going through just the first part and not even read the words to start with, but do what's called a picture walkthrough. And we would just talk about the different pictures of the book and then ask them some questions as you go along. Like, for example, what do you think Pete is doing? What are these on the table? Bananas. What do you think Pete's going to do with those bananas? Let them think about what they're seeing. And you just go through it and you go through the story page by page and just look at the words. Look at the pictures and ask them what they think is going to happen in the story, or what is Pete doing, or what do you think Pete likes? All sorts of questions that you can ask them as you go along. So that gives them a kind of idea of what the story is about before you start reading the story. And then when you go back to the beginning and you begin to read the story, a good thing to do is follow along with your finger so that they understand that words in a book come from right to left, right? From left to right. From left to right. And that's very important because we don't want kids reading backwards. So we're going to go from left to right. So as you go along, you can do sounds like Peter, or the cat, some of the things that we learned earlier tonight that you can do, or you can just enjoy the book with them and read the sentences. And as you read the sentences and you read a page, you can always inject words to help them understand or comprehend what the story is about. And that is pre-reading and pre-writing stuff, because they're learning about the print concept. And also you can add some vocabulary. If there's a word that you think they may not understand, or a word that is not familiar, you can ask them about that and use vocabulary, and then you can see if they understand it. Let them repeat back to you what they think it might mean. And so reading a book can be very an awesome way to help your children learn reading and literacy early before schooling. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much.